What is shakin', Internet? This is Saltz bringing you the How to Tank for Dummies Immerseus LFR guide. Immerseus, or the Puddle Boss, is the first boss in the Siege of Orgrimmar raid instance for the first quarter LFR instance named the Veil of Eternal Sorrows. For those of you in queue or fighting trash, a quick synopsis. Tank the boss facing away from the raid and the other tank. Switch tanks every 2 stacks of Corrosive Blast. Don't stand in pools or swirly things, especially when the boss is shooting water, and kill and or heal the adds when he splits up. Okay, let's start on the real guide for dummies. First up is trash. The trash is relatively short here, but funny enough, it's actually more dangerous than the boss. Okay, maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration, but I've seen more people die to the trash than to the boss. The first few packs are pretty ignorable, but when you get to the big water guys, you need to watch out. They will shoot out streams of water in random direction, leaving trails of junk on the ground. These do a lot of damage, so just don't stand in them and you'll be fine. So, for Immerseus himself, this is a pretty simple fight to get you started in this raid and actually kind of fun. The overall mechanics are pretty simple. The boss will fight you in his starting form until he dies. Then, he'll split up into a bunch of adds that slowly walk back to the middle of the room and reform the boss again. When he's split up, the more adds you kill and or heal, the less health the boss will have when he gets reformed. The goal is to kill enough adds to make the boss come back to life at 0% health, meaning he dies permanently. This will take a couple of these repeating phases to get, but overall, it's pretty straightforward. So when you're fighting Immerseus in his big single form, you'll have to deal with a couple of moves. First and most important is Corrosive Blast. This is a cone attack on Immerseus' tank that does a good chunk of shadow damage and increases shadow damage taken by a lot, meaning you have to swap tanks every 2 or 3 stacks. Also, be sure that the main tank is getting hit by this and the off tank is not, so make sure both tanks are standing away from each other the entire time. I like to mark myself as the star and the other tank as a square, because I'm the star and they're a square. Well, that joke was bad. Okay, either way, the boss will also cast Swirl every so often, which basically makes little pools/tornadoes move around the room. Touching these pools will knock you up in the air. The worst part is that the boss will actually shoot a stream of water out and slowly circle that around the room. This does a mediocre amount of damage and knocks you back, so avoid it if you can, but it's not really a big issue. A note is that you can't actually get super close to the boss himself. If you do, he'll damage you and knock you back. Basically, this just stops you from running directly through him to avoid pools and the stream, but it really shouldn't affect you that much. Finally, Immerseus will shoot Shaw Bolts out to the raid members, to random raid members, which does shadow damage and drops a void zone where they were standing. Luckily, the void zones will get sucked in when you kill the boss, and the phase changes, but unluckily, this does shadow damage. If you've taken a Corrosive Blast to the face recently, you need to watch for this move, because it will do a lot more damage to you, especially the void zone that's left afterwards. Also be aware that this move does splash damage and hurts everyone within 5 yards of the raid member, so you need to stay spread out. To be safe, when you have Corrosive Blast, you really need to stay far away from everybody, even if it means you're not damaging the boss for a bit. If people group up, they might not die, but you taking 10 of these to the face at 300% bonus damage hurts a lot. A lot. Once the big guy goes down, he'll split out into small adds around the room. These adds will slowly walk back towards the center, and if they make it there, they will do some raid-wide damage, and the boss won't lose as much health in the next phase. To be clear, killing these adds equals killing the boss, as doing damage to the big guy really doesn't do anything in the fight overall. There are 2 kinds of adds that are in this phase: bad guys, or Shaw Puddles, and good guys, or contaminated puddles. None of them really do anything to the raid, so tanks really aren't necessary here. They have no abilities, except for walking. If you have any damage abilities, now is the time to use them. Now is the offensive cooldown time. The point is that you have to kill the baddies and heal the goodies. For each one you kill or heal to full, the boss will take 1% permanent damage to his health. So obviously you have to kill/heal 100 of these things to beat the boss. You'll notice that as the fight progresses, more friendly puddles will appear than enemy puddles. This is actually part of the mechanics of the fight that really doesn't matter to you, but I'm just pointing it out. If you have any healing abilities, like the Druid's healing or Pally's, then you can bust them out here to take out more of these things. A last note is that the bad puddles can be slowed, stunned, or snared even, so brush off your CC buttons. You'll have to do this phase switch at least 5 times, but probably quite a few more depending on your group. Luckily, there is nothing else to this fight. It is a very simple introductory fight to the raid, so enjoy it while it lasts. Quick recap time. So when big guy is up, tank him away from the raid and switch tanks every 2 or 3 corrosive blasts. Don't stand in puddles or void zones, and run around him when he starts spitting water. In the second phase, kill and heal the ads quickly to make the boss die. I hope you enjoyed this quick and easy guide for dummies. Please like, favorite, share, subscribe, all that jazz, and, as always, you keep it salty, Internet.